It is the absolute home stretch. Today is Sunday, the 9th of December. My final exam is in 2 days, and that's criminal law. Now, where I left off, I just finished writing the state and citizen exam, and there were 3 courses left to go. And what characterized the next week was basically trying to switch back and forth between contracts and torts. Contracts, we had a take-home exam, 5 questions, only 3 of which would actually be graded, and we wouldn't know which 3 until the day that they were due. And the first thing I want to say is that the first question in the contracts exam, I needed this old case, and you might remember me mentioning it last week, this obscure old case from English law over 100 years ago. And to my surprise, I would like to thank Sarah, Frank, and Sophie for actually trying to go find it and actually pulling it out of the archives that they were able to get a handle on, and actually get me that case before the Osgoode library could. So thank you for that. That got me a head start on that. And now that I've actually submitted that answer, I can actually tell you a little bit more about what that was about. So I thought that this was some kind of unsolvable problem with an answer that was just escaping me. And I did what Kirk did with the Kobayashi-Maru, was I reprogrammed the simulation. I used that old case to basically make a point that numbers are not what they seem. And this old contract that was written 25 to 30 years ago has an interest that, if it's payable, is going to ruin the company. So I needed to make an argument saying that that number didn't actually mean what that number said. It didn't represent the common expectations of both the investor and the investee. So thank you very much to Sarah, Frank, and Sophie for helping me out on that question to get that resource. Switching back and forth between contracts and torts was tough because torts really felt like it was going to be a photo finish. I really felt behind in torts. And in fact, to characterize the last little week, a friend of mine said that it doesn't really feel like we're in exam period because the level of work intensity has not changed from the entire semester. It has always been this rush. And the way I felt for torts, it just felt so unfair because the amount I still had to do to prepare for the exam felt like I'd been procrastinating all semester, when that is simply not true. And so it's not fair to have not procrastinated, but to feel like the amount of work that you have is as though you have procrastinated. It's like, this is not fair. But anyway, it worked out. I did get all of the content down, but it was tough, and a lot of late nights trying to get that stuff finished. Thankfully, the professor did have a review session, but even at the review session, which was only 1 day before the exam, people were still asking questions whose premise that I wasn't quite sure about, so I was a little worried about that. And also, as usual, my outline going into the exam, very short, just a handful of pages in my index, but just sitting down at the exam, I was feeling pretty nervous because everyone has all of this material, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there's so much material. What if I didn't what would it have cost me just to bring in my lecture notes? Why didn't I just print them off? I could have them there just to make me feel better. And I was feeling a little anxious before the exam started. Well, I'm here in the exam room getting ready to write my torts 100% final. A little apprehensive just because everything is all done in one big shot, but I just want to get it over with. And here we go. It's finished and I feel really good. I felt entirely vindicated because everything I needed was right there and it was fine, and I felt very happy after it was finished. And in fact, I'm going to prove Randall's point, because Randall, you said something about how you enjoy watching these videos because I say, I'm really stressed, oh, it worked out. And yes, this is another one of those, so thank you, Randall. Your prediction and observation is true again for this. But so that was torts, and once torts was finished, great. Now I only have 2 courses to worry about, contracts and criminal. And so contracts being the clear and present issue, I was just trying to finish as much of these 5 questions as I could. So it's 2:30 in the morning, and I have finished 3 of the 5 questions for contracts. At 1:30 tomorrow, we will be informed which 3 of the 5 that we were given are actually going to be the ones that are on the exam. So I've got a few more hours, but I'm confident with what I've put together already. But wow. Okay, good night. Basically, 2 of the ones I had were on the exam, and 1 that I had only sketched out was. So that's the next one I have to do. But the funny thing is I actually found preparing for contracts fun, because it just felt like they were real problems that I was actually having to struggle to try and solve, to actually help a real client and see how can I get you out of this pickle? How can I solve this for you? So that's been really neat, and I think that's pretty unique to contracts. And contracts has been a really unique course throughout this whole semester. And I finished, and I felt very satisfied because that was it. I finished 2 courses, Torts and Contracts, in 1 week, and then there was only one thing left to do. And if you remember way back from earlier in the semester when I had a chocolate bar from a friend that was at a conference where my contracts professor was giving a lecture, I finally ate that chocolate bar. So that is completely closed the loop on contracts. And that was it. So now I've moved on. I'm trying to finish criminal law preparations this weekend. It is so nice because I only have one thing to focus on. There's nothing else on my mind. I can just worry about criminal law, and then that's it. So that's it for this semester. Next semester coming up, I actually did find out which perspective option I got. I did not get the intellectual property option, but I was never really feeling all that committed to it, and actually this is another good chance for me to think, okay, what do I really want to do, and is it intellectual property? The one I did get into is social media and ethics, and I might try to change it to a different course that might still have room in it. I'm thinking about privacy. But anyway, that's more of a next semester problem. In the meantime, this is it. This is going to be my second last update. I will update you after the criminal exam. But this is amazing. It's almost Christmas vacation, and one thing left to go, and I'm feeling confident for this one. I feel like it's less of a photo finish than Torts. Anyway, that's it. So, thanks for watching. Bye for now.